This was a university, Portland University. The grad students were replicating cold fusion. And so we're near the end here. I'm not going to show all the vortex technology stuff. This Kirill Chukhanov, and that's his daughter Laura in the other picture. By the way, she was, I think, didn't Miss Utah come in third this year, Miss Barrick or something like that? She or runner-up. So we've got a bright, finely intelligent person there, and who I hope she stays in this field. She's more interested in studying diplomacy in university, but just had to throw in something pleasant for you to look at there. Anyway, what he has is ball lightning experiments. He's creating ball lightning, and he's a physicist from Bulgaria, and they're in our book too. Most of these people. Open sourcing. How many think that's the way to go? I'm glad to see that there's.
What do you mean by open source?
Well, you know how in the software world there's Linux, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, actually a friend.
Linux.
Yeah, a friend from Seattle wanted me to make a point of some of those things that he's thought an awful lot about open sourcing. That it's not. It doesn't mean that you're turning your back on profits that you might have, but you're turning toward humankind. Yeah, so the model where if somebody makes an improvement, then everybody benefits, and including the inventor. George Weissman, that's been his model, in that he has written booklets about things that he's been working on, and so what that shows is that you can make a living. He's doing all right with his living, and I suppose some of you have heard about his work. Oh, really? George Washington Carver with his botanical knowledge. Huh.
He didn't patent a lot of things.
Good, yeah.
A few, but
Yeah.
so it's too much trouble.
Well, right now, if you're going to patent a really revolutionary energy device, it might really be the last you'll see of it. If it's there's the committee that examines all the patents applications, and if it's something that's considered national security, then you don't have any right to it. I remember when Adam Trombley's patent on the cyclically closed path homopolar generator was put under patent, and it was basically a gag order on him because the instructions include that you can't talk to anybody about it, not even your friends. You certainly can't talk to the media. And so during the 5 years or so that he was under the gag order, he went out and founded something called Project Earth, and just went around talking about environmental issues at a time when nobody was talking about holes in the ozone layer or anything like that. But that really, that was the first that I heard about what goes on, and then now, of course, heard a lot more. Tom Ballone, who's putting on that conference in October, works at the patent office, and he has a few stories to tell. So the point is that open source is definitely worth considering if you come up with an invention. More than worth considering. Well, didn't Bob Boyce open source a lot of knowledge? And Al Bronker, the magnetic motor inventor that I showed a photo of, he's open sourced a lot of his work. He hasn't open sourced all that he's doing right now, but he's helped a lot of people to make it fast. In fact, there was a Russian, Dr. Frolov, who went and patented something that Al had open sourced, and so that was not at all the way to go. Well, I'm just going to read you a few notes from this friend who's given a lot of thought to what to do when you come up with open source project, and so you'll get a blowback on it. First of all, do as much as you can yourself and document everything by descriptive writing, photographs, and drawings if possible. So document it. Bring in like-minded friends and people into your, that have the same open source agenda, philosophy into your circle. And above all, people who can be trusted to keep confidences until the project is far enough along to expose the public in a wide corporate manner. And he suggests putting all the data on a DVD and making 1,000 copies and toss onto university, college, and high school parking lots on a 1,000-mile journey. And everyone getting a copy is urged to make 10 copies to give away. So you get the idea of, you know, it would be a lot of fun to put something into the public domain, wouldn't it? But more than that, what you put out comes back. And just on an everyday practicality point of view, the inventor will always benefit. You're going to be the consultant. You're going to be the one who started it all, and you're going to be in demand for your services and your consultation. Oh, a few minutes for questions. I'll just flip through to the end. I was going to talk a bit about Victor Schauberger's approach, but we didn't have time. That'd be more like 2 presentations. So we'll end on that slide. And have any questions?
You mentioned Chuckanoff.
Mm-hmm.
How familiar are you with his work, and what kind of things was he doing? He was actually producing electricity using ball lightning, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, but I'm not. I can't tell you about the technical details of it. It's online.
Okay.
Chukanoff is Chukanob. And yeah, I've seen his lab, but since I'm not an engineer, I think I might just botch it up if I tried to.
Is he still up in Canada?
Yes, he's still in Canada.
Okay, but his daughter is down in
Utah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the question of open source, we go back and forth for a long time, and there's a lot of problems with going open source, because I have gone open source with a lot of my inventions in the past, and you don't get that backing like you talked about. It opens you up to more ridicule, and no one steps forward with the replications for many, many years. So things just kind of fall into the woodwork when you go open source. I mean, in your opinion, what other ways could you go about doing that? I mean,
Well, they couldn't patent it because you put it open source. But what did you do?
Like just go, well, there's some invention over there that was open source with, and there have been people that I've spoken with that have done replications, and no one will go on the internet or online or anything to even acknowledge that they've replicated it and got nothing out of it. So I don't know that I'm really big fan of the open source. There's got to be some way to go open source with some things and then come to make a living with other things, because always going open source just ends up, in open wallet.
Okay, that's a good point. The inventor is wise to not go the same direction with everything. If you go open source with some things and then others go another route, right?
I was thinking the question. I don't know that it's something that I've completely come to grips with, but basically I have not had good luck with going open source.
Now, I'd like to hear more about that later if you could talk.